But yeah, the day I received phone calls and text messages that he was joining the 36ers was a complete shock. If he was going to go to another NBL team, I thought it was going to be maybe Melbourne United, a big team in a big market over there in Melbourne. You can build the brand, and they obviously have the money to sort of compete. But to go to the Adelaide 36ers, traditional rivals of the Perth Wildcats, was mind-blowing. Great story as a journo. I went, wow, this is pretty cool. As a journo, like, this is a great story. Wildcats legend moving to the 36ers. How good's round one going to be when the two teams compete against each other? As a fan, which I am 50-50, as a fan, I sit there going, this is the end of the world. It's over. You might as well close the door of the Perth Wildcats. The greatest player's gone. But now, time heals all wounds, and, you now look forward to maybe a good future for the Wildcats and a couple of changes and a few new faces.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'm on similar ilk. I said it a couple of weeks ago when we had a bit of a conversation about the Bryce Cotton situation, that I think his time in Puerto Rico summed up his fact that he didn't want to go travel internationally. I just think it was one of those things where I don't think he felt comfortable taking his young child, obviously, and his missus and everything around the world, potentially on a bit of a bandwagon for a couple of seasons, and was happy to set up shop in Australia. And unfortunately, like I mentioned, it isn't for the Perth Wildcats. It is for the Adelaide 36ers. But on the flip side of that, we're just happy to see him back in the NBL, potentially chasing the ghost of Andrew Gaze as well for the greatest of all time title as well, which I'm sure a lot of Wildcats fans have quickly rubbed off the marker, but I don't think I have either, mate. But what did you make of the whole situation? We're not here criticizing the club right now, and that's not what I want to do here. But obviously, there was the 3-day decision essentially, and then obviously the Mark Arena comments afterwards as well. I still think he's done a great job, and I think the organisation has as well. But it did shock a lot of people with the 3-day decision essentially that Bryce had.
Yeah, look, I think there's a bit of a history there, Josh. I mean, I don't think it was a great marriage in the end, the Perth Wildcats and Bryce Cotton. I think there's a fair bit that went under, there's a fair bit of drama that happened in that last season in particular, and probably even, 18 months before that as well. So I actually don't know whether Bryce probably would have come back to the Perth Wildcats. They would have had to have done a fair bit of work behind the scenes to make him happy again. So that's my first reaction. However, I understand where the Perth Wildcats are coming from. They've got such a crucial piece to their puzzle, their championship puzzle, and they have to replace him somehow. Now, you can't replace Bryce Cotton with just one player. You need to replace him with 2, maybe even 3 players.